Victim's age 1 to 11 years old. Yo, what is going on today, guys? On PoprockGaming, we're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We are going to be reacting to oompaville's latest video that he just uploaded here recently on the new Mr.beast allegations and or, you know, just keeping up with the story. I started watching this one on part 1 and I'm kind of interested in it, so I figured we could watch his video and react to it together. Let's dive right into this. Again, before we jump right into this, this is oompaville's upload right here. We are not attempting to steal his video or anything like that, but the way he breaks this down is really cool. I kind of like his videos and I wanted to react to it live with you guys, and let's see what the guy's talking about. Let's jump right into it. We'll hit play. There we go.
We're talking about Mr.beast again today. Mr.beast, if you didn't know, is YouTube's cash cow and the golden boy who has been on the grind for quite some time, and he's reached heights that no other creator has ever probably even dreamed of, and especially has never achieved before. That being said, YouTube's biggest creator has been in some very hot water in the past few weeks.
Trouble in Beastland? Mr.beast is facing controversy on several different fronts, and all this comes at a terrible time, right?
But what I've seen though is so far is Jimmy himself has not made any, you know, comments on this. So I don't know if they're going to discuss any of that in this video or not, but we'll see. As far as I know, he hasn't come out and said anything about any of this that's going on.
Right when Amazon is investing potentially hundreds of millions of dollars into the Beast games.
Beginning in the last week of July and continuing to this day, Mr.beast and his entire company have been under extreme scrutiny.
He is the #1 YouTube star, said to be worth $500 million, and his empire is having a little bit of trouble, and he's in a little bit of hot water.
So we have the whole Ava Tyson situation that we've covered. The timeline of that is very clear, and after that, a former employee by the name of Dawson, aka Dogpack404, released an hour-long video detailing.
Which, shout out to him, because without him we would not have this. So it's good that he is providing this information, and from what I've seen, he's been pretty good at keeping up with everything.
Claims that Mr.beast and his crew were running illegal lotteries and faking videos.
It's insane that he can flip these massively profitable illegal lotteries.
I think personally that everybody, because once again, not guilty until proven, you know, or innocent until proven guilty. I think a lot of people are going to definitely attack the Beast Foundation on, you know, faking their videos. And like I said, you know, it looks pretty obvious. I'm sure they're going to get into it. If they're, you know, throwing these claims out there, I'm sure they have some very valid reasoning behind it. So let's go.
He's targeted towards children as an act of generosity.
So I'm going to give you guys a few minutes to go place an order at shopmrbeast.com. Anyone watching any of the lives. And we're going to throw iPhones in some of them.
So Dawson has put out a part 2 after the massive success and resonance of his part 1 video. I interviewed him about it. It's been going viral. It has like 12 or 13 million views at the time of recording this. Part 2, also an hour-long video. The contents of part 2 are even more damning evidence than the first. And the first one was pretty bad.
Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around.
But it's important to note, we still do not have a response from Mr.beast. There's been no debunking. There's been...
That's the guilty by association. You know, like he just said, even if he didn't do anything, you were still around the situation. That is guilt by association. I am a firm believer of guilt by association. You do not sit back and just watch somebody do something heinous like that.
And, you know, it's just Dawson and the narrative that it wants to see Mr.beast destroyed. There's been no debunking. There's been, you know, it's just Dawson and the narrative that it wants to see Mr.beast destroyed, essentially. I'm going to try to be as fair and balanced as I possibly can. Not Fox News style, but like, I don't know. What's fair? I don't know. I'm going to be reasonable, though. I'm going to try to be reasonable, guys.
I can agree with that.
As of right now, pre-Mr.beast response, things are not looking good.
No, they're not.
Jimmy Beast.
Not
things
at
are
all.
not looking good for the brand. It's pretty bad. And I'll go over the parts that I think are the worst at the end of the video. But first, let's do a recap of part 1 just to get you in the loop.
This is
On July 24th,
part of the video I
Dawson
watched
called out Mr. Beast
majority
for
of
being
already.
an attention casino manipulating children into consuming his brand.
Mr. Beast just uses gambling psychology to exploit young children for profit. He's just become the first casino where the currency you pay with is attention.
All parts of it. The content, the toys,
Now, look. That might be his ploy or plot behind everything, but you cannot hate the man for using the same psychological tactics that everybody else has used on certain things. He just did it different. You know, if you're not harming anybody, then, you know, it's your way of doing things is your way of doing things. You know, you don't want to. I mean, the way he took over YouTube was pretty insane. You got to give the man props where props is due on that. He definitely took a different approach to things and definitely built an empire off of that. Now, that doesn't mean that I agree that he hasn't done anything wrong or anything like that. I'm just saying that as far as making it out like he's done gambling techniques, it pretty much is. That's the easiest way to put it. But he definitely did his thing with the YouTube. He definitely did that.
toys now, the candy, all that shit. In the video, he first alleges that Mr. Beast uses psychological manipulation
Let's see how he
tactics,
feels.
such as behavioral learning, to trick his younger viewers into consuming more of his content.
Step 1 is getting the viewer to associate the brand with trust and authority. Mr. Beast videos are real, and he's a great guy that gives away big rewards to his loyal followers. Step 2.
Well, another thing is that trust goes further than just the rewards. When you're running a channel like that, you cannot make a mistake. You cannot. You're a kid's idol at that point. You cannot make mistakes that they're being accused of. It's just not. You're gonna do it. You got to do it right. You cannot do anything wrong.
Is showing the viewers that when people interact with Mr. Beast in a way that benefits Mr. Beast, when they do what he tells them to do, they win big rewards. And step 3 is finally calling on the viewer to act in some way that benefits the brand, promising big rewards in return. Now it's your turn to do what Mr. Beast tells you, and you will win big rewards.
Dawson then goes on to claim that Mr. Beast fakes his videos and rigs his contestants.
Mr. Beast fakes his videos in ways that are worse than you realize. I say that because he's been exposed for faking videos before, and the common response is, why does it matter if the videos are fake? They're just meant to be entertainment. A large part of Mr. Beast's brand is the fact that he doesn't fake videos.
Dawson also points out numerous instances in Mr. Beast videos where things are clearly CGI'd in, which is kind of the antithesis of something being real. It's not.
Okay, before he goes too far into the CGI stuff, let's back up just a little bit. That's what I was trying to get at. If you're going to claim that you're real and you're going to go off of that is your entire channel, that is your vibe, you cannot get caught being fake. There's nothing wrong with running a fake game show on YouTube for entertainment. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you make viewers feel as if they have a chance to become a part of this fake reality, that's when it's a problem. You know, that's extortion, I believe, is the word that you would use for that. You're extorting kids for their belief that they will eventually make it on your show that is actually fake. So let's jump into what he's considering to be CGI on the channel.
It's fake. CGI. It's computer generated.
This train track is CGI, these bus wheels are CGI, this explosion is fake, this shredder is CGI, this car is digitally lifted, this pit is fake, this guy is fake, this raccoon is a paid actor, this island costs more than $1, this city is not abandoned, these buildings are CGI, but it's not your only way out. You can literally get an Uber to the airport for $20. That's not a lurker, it's just a guy. This whole room is fake, this contestant is an actor and a secret.
Oh, we got another ad. Hold on.
Employee at Mr. Beast. They had him dive through this fake door twice. This line is scripted, this action is scripted. In fact, pretty much all the videos with Mac are scripted.
He also claims, in unison with the CGI fake visuals claim, that a lot of the plots and narratives of the videos are fake as well, such as selling the island for $1, buying the island for $1, whatever the I don't know how that shit's possible, but I guess so. Additionally, Dawson alleges that Jimmy gives away some prizes to predetermined contestants, and specifically calls out this guy Mac, who is known to work within the company, and the videos that he is in are rigged to have him win or have him receive some form of prize. I don't know why he likes that guy so much, but that guy seems to win a decent amount, you know, pretty standard amount, I think. Maybe.
Wait, he's about to be the
But you're going to accuse that, you got to have some sort of evidence. So I'm assuming we're about to jump into something that is going to show how this guy is rigging for this man to win. And if that's the case, that is very, very much wrong considering what this channel is all about. I definitely agree with that. Also, before we jump right back into it, if you look right here on my left shoulder, possibly your right, the name Dogpack404, shout out to him for this video as well. We want to throw him in there as well.
The first one out? That's unlike him.
Even though you got out first, I still have a prize for you. Just wait here.
Oh, first person out gets a car, and it just happened to be your friend Mac.
Dawson shows that FTC laws require that giveaways do not require any sort of paid entry or consideration to win.
A contest, for example, eliminates chance, and a sweepstakes eliminates consideration. In determining if any MrBeast giveaways have been illegal lotteries, we need to identify a prize, which is distributed through random chance and cannot be won without spending money.
However, MrBeast has done numerous streams saying that if you buy a t-shirt, you will win a prize, but it was never clear whether anyone actually won any prizes. Furthermore, he talks about how Jimmy promises all sorts of giveaways but never actually follows through.
Just to keep things fun and interesting, as if putting a photo on the moon isn't interesting enough. Someone who puts a photo on the moon, or if you buy the bundle, whatever, and the next 30 minutes, we'll just fly you down to be in a video.
3 years later, the spaceship finally launched, carrying beautiful pictures of deceased loved ones to the moon, where they would be immortalized. It fucking exploded. So obviously MrBeast refunded everyone, right?
Oh my God.
Right? Is it MrBeast's fault that the rocket exploded? No. Is it his fault that he advertised it as, for $10, I will put your photo on the moon?
For $10, I'll put whatever picture you want on the moon.
When he couldn't guarantee that? Yes, of course.
Dawson uses all this evidence to point and create the fact that he, MrBeast, is baiting his viewers to watch more so he can have better watch time, to have better relationships with advertisers, make more money, etc. Feed the beast, as they say.
Prolong?
Okay, so I get where he's coming from with that. If you don't follow through with something that you promised, you owe a refund, whether the rocket ship blew up or not. But if you tell somebody you're going to put a picture on the moon for them, then you have to put the picture on the moon for them if they paid you $10 for that.
Attention is definitely a form of consideration. In the attention economy, it is the valuable resource that advertisers directly pay MrBeast for. So in these live streams, when MrBeast says, hey guys, today we're doing a bunch of illegal lotteries, but also we're gonna be giving away some free stuff to people who keep watching, he does that to boost viewer numbers.
The end of the video is saved for Dawson talking about Beast Burger and Feastables and how Jimmy is a hypocrite for claiming that he wants to condemn the unhealthy food of America.
I wanted to just make a better for you snack brand because I think a lot of the stuff out there is just terrible for you.
Because obviously so much obesity and disease comes from the stuff we eat. Like Hershey's, for example, there's 10 ingredients, super processed. Our Feastables bars are 5 ingredients, and just all the ingredients are way higher quality. And it's infinitely better than the other options out there.
But then mass markets some of the most unhealthy products to young children.
MrBeast also just launched a combo with Zaxby's, which if you get a soda, it's over 2,000 calories for one meal.
Because obviously so much obesity and disease comes from the stuff we eat.
The only thing real in this video is the new MrBeast box at Zaxby's.
I'm pretty sure this would be illegal in Europe. This is like more calories in one meal than the average 10-year-old is supposed to consume on a daily basis.
Then Dawson takes this point and ties it back to the illegal gambling point and the illegal lottery point by showing that MrBeast has even added forms of lotteries or gambling to Feastables, encouraging kids to further engage with his branding in hopes of winning some free chocolate. Chocolate, yes! I love it!
To celebrate our launch of milk chocolate and sea salt, we went out and we bought 10 Teslas, loads of cash, and all these prizes you see on the screen. And prizes aside, unlike Hershey's, these bars only have 4 to 5 ingredients and just genuinely taste good. Go to Feastables.com right now and order some chocolate. Only problem is the chocolate river is deteriorating. All the
The only place you'll find no purchase necessary is either on the Feastables Twitter account because it's a rule of the platform, and even still they try to push it. No perched neck, or hidden deep in the Feastables website under a FAQ. And to enter for free, you have to mail in separate 3-inch by hand addressed written index cards, up to 10 a day.
Since the release of part 1, that video has absolutely exploded. I covered it, kind of shat on it a little bit. I feel bad about that. By the way, I foresee a MrBeast video coming soon called $1 Lawyer versus $1 Million Lawyer, because this is some crazy shit to just allege. Yeah, it's $1 million company. I don't know. It's kind of scary. I don't know if I would be saying that. Maybe, I don't know. Let's see. Let's see how this goes. Since then, I have interviewed Dawson, released a part 2. We talked about it, and I believe that he is coming from an ethical perspective, which is cringe as it may be. I do think that it's probably pretty smart to approach this stuff ethically, because the systems that are already in place that you have to abide by to be successful on YouTube or social media in general are sort of unethical as it is. That's the nature of business and the nature of all this stuff, and like, it's very complicated. It's a minefield. I like the idea of just always trying to improve, and when people criticize you, you can change and improve through that criticism. And I believe that Dawson is an excellent vessel for this, for anyone. Not just MrBeast, but a lot of content creators who want to be incredibly successful. I like Dawson. I'm gonna be honest. I really like Dawson. He's a very cool guy who I think means well. His first video is not monetized. His second video is not monetized. Sure, he's getting a lot of views and clicks and all this stuff, but like, this is journalism, guys. It's like actual
Pretty
real
much,
life
yeah.
YouTube journalism. It's not what I do. It's not what any of my commentary compatriots really do. It's like CoffeeZilla and then Dogpack. The two biggest stories that have ever come out of YouTube, the Logan Paul shit and also now this MrBeast stuff. So
I tell you what,
you know, think what you think.
I tell you what, this Dawson guy, you don't want him on your bad side. If you're a YouTuber, you don't want him on your bad side. I'm telling you, the way he's tearing and picking this apart is the only reason why I want to do a little bit of a reaction to this, because it's insane. And like I said, you know, shout out to my guy right here. I just happened to come across his video. I like the way he explains things, and it's absolutely insane what you can find out by just doing a little bit of research and paying a little bit of attention.
Let me know what you think down below. So yeah, like 12, 13, 11, I don't even know how many views it has, his part 1 video. Since then, there's been no response from MrBeast, no action whatsoever. People want action. They want to hear what he has to say. About 2 weeks have passed without any kind of new news, but yesterday, this date, Dawson uploaded part 2 that was once again almost an hour long. But this time, the allegations are far worse. After the release
That's what I'm ready for.
Dawson had a ton of people reach out to him with negative experiences that he could share. The skeletons, once they start falling, they just keep on falling.
If you've got
dominoes, the Jenga tower, however you want to see it.
If you've got skeletons in the closet, once they start digging them out, my God, they will fall.
2,
they will come out
worse than part 1, and the new allegations Dawson made, he didn't wait for a response from MrBeast before launching that second volley. And holy shit, it's pretty wild. He opens up the second video with an ode to Content Cop. He replicates the OG costume, the music, the chaotic intro sequence, not sequent. So there's entertainment value there. There's some humor there, but when you get past that, what exactly does Dawson try to say in this video? Well, this time he is joined by another former employee of MrBeast, a writer for the channel named Jake Weddle, who throughout the video shares his experience that he had working at the company. And it's not as good as the experience that Dawson had. And Dawson's experience was already pretty bad. And also, it's important to note too, Jake is the one that's coming forward and like the focal point of the second.
Yeah, if you haven't seen that video, basically, long story short, he was put in a room and the lights stayed on the whole time. Everything that he had that basically made him a human, you know, little extra things that humans have, like water, you know, everything pretty much went bad, and he's still traumatized from that experience. And yeah, if you haven't seen that, you need to go check out his part 1 video. Pretty crazy.
Video, and he's the one going public with all this information. Dawson states that there are
also a lot of people were stating that you know what you sign up for. Part 1 explains that what he signed up for may not have been what he was experiencing. It wasn't said that, oh, you're going to be basically, I don't know how to, you have to go watch part 1. He did not sign up to have lights beaming down on him for 100 days or anything like that. He signed up basically for something a lot different than what he got. That's for sure.
Are many more people, hundreds he claims that wish to remain anonymous but share very similar stories, and people have shared screenshots and text messages, and a whole bunch of wild evidence has come out since part 1, and it has been tied into part 2.
After posting I got hundreds of messages from former MrBeast employees, and I had them all like send proof of former employment. You know, just people showing their support or telling their stories of you know, fake videos or unsafe practices, you know, toxic workplace, stuff like that. I'm not really gonna get into those claims because, for one, like, most people want to stay anonymous, which I understand.
And a lot of people will probably shit on this. Well, if they want to remain anonymous, then they're, you know, what they say could just be lies, and they can't be held accountable, and they can't be held to a standard of integrity because they're remaining anonymous. But man, Schubert, walk like a duck, quack like a duck. There's all these people coming out. You gotta have some problems. There's some problems. There's definitely some problems there. There's certain
Thousands of people tell the same story. There's a podcast I listen to where they do ghost stories, right? And my favorite quote from that guy is, "You're telling me that I'm over 1,000 videos in and everybody's lying. If one person's telling the truth, that changes everything." Because if there's thousands of people or hundreds of people that he's done wrong and they're all anonymous, but one person comes out with evidence and substantial proof that he was done wrong, that changes everything. You don't have to treat 100 people wrong. You just have to treat one person wrong. And one person with enough proof is enough to get you shut down. Also enough to make you look like a bad person as well.
Some problems. And with all the Logan Paul stuff, also Logan Paul's in MrBeast videos. Why is Logan Paul in MrBeast videos? Why is Logan Paul buddy with MrBeast? What the f?
YouTubers.
That doesn't seem right. So now it's time to go through the claims that are made in the second video. If you guys want to know, I would recommend watching the second video for yourselves as well as the first video. I'm sure I'll probably have Dawson on to interview him to clarify any stuff here. So ask your questions down below. I want to get as much context as we possibly can and do as much thinking as we can and maintain a middle fair ground until MrBeast responds and we give him a chance that he rightfully deserves to defend himself, if that's even possible in this scenario. This video is bad. It's really bad. It's like, I'm trying really hard. Okay, guys, trying really hard. The first claim that's sort of briefly mentioned is that there was a cameraman for the 100 Boys and 100.
Yeah, it's a pretty bold statement to attack somebody with such a big following and be completely wrong. So you definitely want to tread sort of lightly in a situation like this, because if he's not guilty, you know, then you're out here making allegations and claims towards somebody with that big of a following. You know, it's not going to look good for you. Not going to look good for you at all. But you can only go off of the evidence that you have, you know.
100 Girls video that was creepy towards women and made them feel uncomfortable.
During the 100 Boys versus Girls video, I have people corroborating the same story that the camera guy who gave the girls a drone was making some girls feel uncomfortable. You know, you trap these girls in a circle and you make them sleep on rough turf and get them high on paint fumes, and then you try to f them.
That's bad. Beyond this, there are several little things that are teased. The primary focus of this video becomes an interview with Jake Weddle, the man we introduced earlier. A man who was supposed...
That's a big statement. That is a big statement. And for him to make that statement, he must have some sort of backing evidence behind that. And the Beast fans better hope that he doesn't, because you definitely do not get a bunch of girls in a room, get them high on paint cans, and then try to do things with them. That is definitely not what a successful channel or human being should do in the first place. That is, if that doesn't take you down, nothing else will, because that is definitely really, really bad. You do not do that.
Supposedly pretty high on the company totem pole. Jake worked for MrBeast in 2019 and 2020, and he was both on and off camera. He describes himself as the following.
Most people who, if you know me from MrBeast, I'm a deep cut. I'm in a few of the videos, sometimes maybe purposefully kept to the shadows a little bit. I'm in the cutting room floor a lot of the time. But I've been in some videos. I've worked on a lot of them. I was there from 2019 to 2020, 2021-ish when I came back and did some more. I was there when they were authentic, and then I saw the transition to what I feel like is a company. He's like a TV show.
I've seen that.
A YouTuber guy with a camera to Amazon.
Jake then describes the existing split in company culture into two tiers. People that Jimmy liked, who got random bonuses and screen time.
The culture around there was very unspoken, but there was a vibe. There was happy who, if you made Jimmy happy, you were on the good half. And these people got random bonuses and were usually moved up, had more screen time.
And then people who Jimmy didn't like, who were all.
Now, I am going to say from a business standpoint, because I myself am a business owner, employees will make it out like you mistreat them or treat somebody else better. And a lot of times that's not really the case. A lot of the time it's serious, you know. It's hard to explain to somebody that they suck at something. Nobody wants to hear that they are not worthy of a position or an opportunity. And that could be potentially the problem here. You know, maybe maybe this guy over here, you know, got better views than this guy right here. And if you're running some sort of channel like this that requires views and, you know, people to like that specific person, I would probably pick the person that gets me further than I would the person that doesn't. And that's just the name of the game with business. I mean, you would not have a business if you did not make decisions like that. Business decisions can be ugly, but you don't do blatant abuse. That's different.
Often left out, or their footage was just chopped and left on the cutting room floor, etc.
And then there was people who, if you had a disagreement or butt heads with Jimmy or just you didn't like it, you know, you were the other half.
So that's a claim, you could say, you know, MrBeast being sort of unfair. He just puts people he likes in the videos, puts people he doesn't like out of the videos, cuts them out, which that sort of makes sense, right? Like, you're not entitled to just be in someone's videos. He is.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you're a complete, whatever word you want to use, I'm not going to let you be around me, because I didn't start a business to have to deal with people that I don't want to deal with. But at that point, you should be honest with them and potentially let them go if they're not the person that you need in that moment. You know, you don't, if they're not going to be what you need them to be, then you let them go.
Is Jimmy Beast. He's Jimothy Beast. He has the mark of the beast. Jake says that he was in the half that Jimmy didn't like, and he followed it up by saying,
but what's
it's
the
fine
reason?
Because he doesn't like Jimmy either.
I consistently was in the half.
If you don't like him,
you
don't
didn't like me. That's
be a
fine.
part
I
of
like
it.
It's okay. Oh, that's just so good to say. I don't like Jimmy. I hate you so much.
Then he looks at the camera and delivers a hard line. I would say that this could be seen as something that sort of devalues the argument, just saying you hate someone. It kind of points out that you're maybe a disgruntled employee and you just want to see the world burn instead of actually achieving some kind of positive end result, which is fair and valid, I guess, if you just want to see shit get taken down and tarnished. But there are going to be a lot of people who are going to try to disprove all of this, and the disgruntled employee discreditation is something that's very real and people have used in the past to defend MrBeast.
Right, and you have every right to do that, because that's what I was just getting at with the whole business thing. I've had plenty of employees come in and out, and every time, you know, you can be just as good to them as you want to be, and when things go south, you're the worst person in existence. That's just all there is to it. I've had plenty of people tell me I've never done anything for them. I've had plenty of people, you know, stab me in the back about certain things. I have been good to people, and as soon as they don't get what they want, that's it. So for him, if he had not have made that last comment, you know, I was pretty far on his side until he made that last comment. But we're not gonna pick a side right this minute or anything like that, because I don't want to speak too soon. I don't want to put myself in a hole. I don't want to dig one and put myself in it, you know. But that last statement hits me pretty hard in the chest. If he would have kept that to himself, then his points would have been a little more valid. And that just shows you how easy you can talk yourself into becoming less valuable. It's very easy to talk yourself into that. Very, very easy.
Me, I've done that. I'm
right.
sorry.
But you're good, dude.
Sorry, I've done that. I have done that. Yes, I was a MrBeast apologist, and now I'm normal, I guess. I don't really see any indication that there is an iceberg, or that this would be just the tip of said iceberg. Evidence or not, social media doesn't give a fuck. There's blood in the water, dude.
That's his channel right there.
MrBeast right now, and that seems to be what's going on. There's a lot of stuff coming out. The MrBeast witch hunt has officially begun. Jake does say that he was disgruntled for quite some time,
and I was.
But go check out this guy's videos, because that's why I like him, because you see how he admits that he was wrong in the past or whatever. He wasn't technically wrong. He's pretty straightforward, and he keeps things right there where they're at, you know, factual. But I mean, obviously we don't have facts yet. To an extent, we have more or less, you know, opinions. But I like the way he handles everything. I like the way he handles everything. His channel is going to do pretty good with that.
You know, disgruntled for quite some time. So I've talked to reporters, right? Like publicly.
Also, just being disgruntled doesn't invalidate you at all, by the way.
No.
Either. Like, for example, if I had an employee, I have a lot of employees. If one of them was very disgruntled and I didn't know, I feel like I would know, probably. I've had some, you know, there's been some negative moments, whatever, but I try very hard to not leave people out in an unreasonable way. Like, if obviously I'm not going to invite everybody all around all the time. That just doesn't make any sense. But
that's what I'm getting at. Like, if you're not ever going to use that employee, then get rid of them. Don't just leave them out of everything. You know, you shouldn't be showing favoritism. As a business owner, I have better employees than I do some of them. Some of them are better at certain things than others, and that's fine. But I don't mistreat the employees that aren't on the level of the top tier employees. You know, you don't mistreat them, because at the end of the day, they still are your employees. They're still doing the work for you, and if they weren't doing at least decent, you would get rid of them.
it's like there's a certain.
So why was he holding on to this guy if it was that
I
bad?
don't really want them to hate me. I don't.
Right, you don't want
feel
nobody to
good
hate
when
you for
people are
that.
Upset because of me, and I like to resolve that situation. I don't know if that's normal. So like,
Nah,
having
I do
an
the same
employee
thing.
years on saying they're just clearly disgruntled would me up.
It
I feel
would,
like that
because you
suck.
should know
Yeah,
that.
I feel for Jake though, really. Then they go on to talk.
Yeah, like I obviously this guy's upset for a reason. Like Jake is upset for a reason, right? But I get where he's coming from. If you have an employee that is this bad off, right? Because not everybody can just quit their job, and who knows what Beast was paying. This might have been this guy's best job and best opportunity. He might just have been stuck working through this. But as the owner, manager, whatever you are of your people, you should be paying attention. If you don't pay attention, you don't realize they're that bad off, you failed at your job. That's how I feel about it. You failed at your job. And that's just all there is to it. Your job is to keep these people happy and keep this business going.
About faked videos, and they talk about the video where Jimmy crushed Jake's car with a meteor.
He wanted to do a prank where, unbeknownst to the person, he takes a rock, crushes their car, and they're supposed to think a rock came out of space.
We're gonna take a meteor and we're gonna put it on Weddle's car. We're gonna take another meteor and put it on Marcus's car. Both of them have no idea that we're doing this. Weddle and Marcus are probably shocked. They had no idea.
And so that was the one and only time I had to, my car? What?
He had to play up and dramatize his reaction, and he texted his mom, so when they called her to tell her, she could also play up everything and dramatize it.
That's
so
entertainment.
I texted my mom, who had to beg to
But
get
this
the title
channel's
very
supposed to be
quickly.
real.
Now I'm texting my mom, I go, Mom, I'm about to call you about the meteor thing. You have no idea? Be surprised. And then I hit send, and then they go, call your, and I call my mom and I tell her, and oh, she should have got the Oscar.
He's helping MrBeast fake content is the claim here. He's like an actual
Right.
witness to this because he perpetrated it. After the dramatization or faking, they gave him $10,000 to buy a new car, and the $10,000 was supposed to be the down payment so he could get like a flashy car, but his salary couldn't afford a big, awesome, nice car, so he got a minivan. Minivans are pretty expensive though. They're pretty slick, dude.
They're supposed to give me $10K to put a down payment on a new car, and they wanted me to get like a big flashy new car. $10K was supposed to be a down payment.
And at this point, I'm gonna start.
I'm going to be honest. There is a lot of money going through that channel. And I don't know if that guy asked for a car payment. I'm not sure about that part, but I know that if I took a man's car and I crushed it, I feel like I would owe him a better car. I mean, with as much money as coming in and out of that organization, they could have bought that man a decent car and put him back on the street, because cars work in mysterious ways. You know, his car may have never broken down again, and the car that he gets stuck with could cause him so many more problems in the future. I mean, losing your vehicle is a big deal. That is a very, very big deal. And if you cannot replace what you took from him, then you shouldn't take it from him.
start referring to Jake as Weddle, because soon we'll be talking about another former MrBeast employee also named Jake the Viking. So I think calling Weddle will help distinguish the two from this point. But Weddle elaborates that his pay was dog shit. That's why he couldn't afford a van or a car better than a shitty Chevy van. I don't know if it was a Chevy van. I just always call vans Chevy vans.
He could have bought that man a
Big
car,
flashy new car because I work at MrBeast.
which is crazy.
I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the taxes on. I couldn't get anything I couldn't afford the insurance on. So I do my part of the video, and I get a mom van that I could afford. And Jimmy was like, why didn't you get a cooler car? I was like, I can't afford that, bro. Come on, what are you talking about?
He then says that if he had worked on a TV show in the 90s that was a quarter as successful, he could retire by now, but that wasn't the case with Jimmy, which I don't really know exactly the context of that.
If I was working on a TV show in the 90s, on a show that was a quarter as successful, I could retire today. But now I make dog shit pay, making
I think he's making a comment based on today's economy.
bajillionaires more money. And I just walked into the writer's room, and that's one of the reasons why I left.
And that's the thing that can make an employee upset. So I mean, like, backtracking on the whole "I hate you" thing that he said back in the past. If this is the reason why he feels that way, then I can understand that, because if I had a boss that was making millions and billions of dollars, you know, and they crushed my car for a video that got them another set of millions of dollars, and then gave me 10 grand to put down on a car and put me in a bad financial situation, I'd be pretty disgruntled myself. I'd be pretty upset.
In spite of Weddle's pay being unimpressive by his own standards, he shares that he had it better than another writer.
But
Weddle
nobody
shares
has
that
to keep a job.
A young 20-something white guy was paid more than another writer, a black fellow, who was older and had kids to take care of.
There was another writer there, older comic, black guy, he had a kid, and I got paid more than him, and I thought that was wild because he was older than me, had a child, we're doing the exact same job, and I'm some 20-year-old white guy, why am I getting paid more than him? I brought that up.
I assume the implication here is that there's a level of racism at the Beast compound, and Weddle's already saying that he's not being paid enough, and then he's like, well, look at this guy who is not a white guy and they're racist here, he's being paid even less than me, so it's like extra bad. I guess that's the implication, I assume. And then in this
That's what it sounds
Weddle
like.
gets emotional and begins to cry because he feels guilty about the way that things played out. And he says that he spoke up because he wanted this other writer to be compensated appropriately, even though the other writer hadn't wanted to rock the boat, but he trusted Weddle and joined them in the meeting. And that resulted in both of them being let go with severance checks.
But he said, hey man, if that's how you feel, you know, like if that's like, I trust you. He stood with me. He went to that meeting with me. And I said my piece, and he backed me up.
He's really emotional about this.
I'm out of here. And they said, bet, and they gave me a severance check the next day. And they gave him a severance check the next day.
So, you know, Weddle at this point is posing himself as the ultimate virtuous hero, essentially. And we get an idea as to why Weddle was emotional, because he was thrilled to be paid to leave, but the other writer was devastated because all he'd wanted was to just be in the room.
Me, I was over the moon. I was like, you're gonna give me a check and I get to leave? You know, I don't get to deal with the how many Orbeez can I fit up my asshole every day? You know, and I get to go home and you're gonna pay me to leave. I was over the moon, and he was devastated. He did not want. I said he just wanted to be in the room, you know?
He didn't actually want to get fired or anything like that. So it's, you know, Weddle made demands. This guy faced consequences. Also, MrBeast, you know, meet them. I'd say this is a very...
Oh, what is it you're holding?
...area of gray. There, you know, HR could handle this for sure. Proper HR could definitely handle this situation. And
Right.
Weddle clearly feels guilty about this, and he's being honest, clear and transparent. Weddle...
It's a good thing that he feels guilty about it, though. I mean, that's a tough one, because you don't know what that other guy's work performance was. I would really hope that he wouldn't be getting mistreated because of his race. Guys, it's 2024. You know, it's time to move past stuff like that. You can't move past stuff like that, then you don't deserve to be in power. That's just all there is to it. also backtracking on that a little bit further, if somebody else is making a demand at work that you feel isn't what you want to do in that moment, think about what you're doing, because they're going to take you down with them.
Describes Jimmy as an opportunist, and that when he does philanthropic things, it's calculated because of the gain that the philanthropic activity will result in and the furthering of all of that.
I think it was the smartest decision for him that he calculated, because he's very good with numbers. If I donate to charity, people can't say I'm shitty. If I give this homeless guy 10K, what do you mean I'm a bad guy?
I've been guilty of saying that, you know, so what? Who cares? It's philanthropic. It's philanthropic. And that's sort of true, but I actually don't hold myself to that standard. In fact, whenever I do anything philanthropic, I always keep it secret. So it almost seems like I've done nothing philanthropic ever. That's supposed to be a joke. I'm sorry. I think it's clear at this point, this web.
He makes a good point, though. You can't judge one person's channel and another person's channel if this person's not claiming to do that. That's like, you know, with me being a gamer, I see a lot of people demanding that I be family friendly, and I also make comments on other people not being family friendly, and people don't understand that. It's how you claim your channel. It's how you claim what you're going to be. So, like Beast faking videos, people fake videos all the time. You claim you don't, though. That's the thing. That's the whole point here.
Weddle guy doesn't like Jimmy very much, all right? So we're in 2020 and there's bad blood already between Weddle and Jimmy. But Weddle would still return to the channel back in 2021 for a video that never was uploaded because of how poorly it went. There's a video on the MrBeast channel from 2 years ago titled $10,000 Every Day You Survive Prison. It has over 200 million views, in which a guy is put into solitary confinement, and each day that he stays in there, he gets $10,000.
This is the
Weddle
video I
reveals
saw.
that this was the second attempt to make the video after he tried to do it first.
People don't know that was the second attempt. The first attempt was on me, and it didn't go well.
And the way that he describes his experience with that video and the filming of it sounds like it took inspiration from Guantanamo Bay, if true. Whittle described the facility as terrible and the following.
It was a terrible facility. I mean, it was in one of the studios. They had to get a separate tank for, you know, septic stuff. Yeah, there was a hot tub in it. Yeah, there was an ice cream machine. Like, things were cool and funny on paper. But when you think about stuff, a hot tub that's not connected to a filtration system, give it 3 days, it's gonna stink.
So yeah, that thing stunk. Ice cream machine smelled like shit. Weddle also claims that they didn't turn the lights off at any point, so there was no light or dark cycle emulation for circadian rhythm, which is just torturous in and of itself.
Yeah, if anybody's back at so this is one thing I can say right here, straight out the gate, with no, I don't need anybody to tell me anything. It just takes a little bit of research on the human body and the human brain to know that isolation, for one, destroys you. No sleep destroys you. Improper, not having the things that you're used to in life also destroys you. I mean, cry. Oh, I don't have running water. Take your running water away and see how you feel about it. Put yourself in an isolated room and see how you feel about it. I used to work at a jailhouse one time, and I saw people get put in rooms, and I saw their whole demeanor change after just a few days of being, you know, in isolation. But I mean, they got put in there because of things they did, but I mean, they had to be kept away from everybody because they were going crazy. And you think somebody's crazy until you see them get put in a room with no sort of, you know, interaction or the things that they need to survive off of properly. It's crazy how fast your brain can just fall apart.
They weren't turning the lights off. You know, I asked them, I said, can we have nighttime hours? You know? And they said no, because it would fuck up the time-lapse shots. The time-lapse of what? Me sleeping? Or me not sleeping?
It also
See, it sounds like he's just complaining if you're not familiar with how bad that this is on the human body. I mean, this is really bad on the human body. Just look into some of the experiments that they've done in the past on humans back when doctors used to do stuff like that, or even back when, you know, wars were extremely bad and they would basically lock you up and torture you to learn how the human body worked. It's insane.
made it so Weddle had no way of knowing how long he'd actually been in there, or, you know, it made it impossible for him to maintain any sort of sleep schedule or take this opportunity to stop watching the video and go do something outside, and go touch grass or whatever. You know, anyways.
I wasn't sleeping. I could not sleep, and I have insomnia problems now. But they might have started there.
Weddle points out that nighttime hours were something that were present in the video that was uploaded the second attempt, but the video that Weddle was in made him feel like he was a guinea pig that was just tortured, and they learned what to fix for the video so that it would actually go live and they would, you know, recoup their torture investment, I guess. So then we get to the point in which Weddle loosely accuses MrBeast of committing a war crime on him.
And I go up to my friend, my good friend.
I mean, technically, yeah.
And I go.
They don't even do that anymore in war.
That's a war crime. We're not allowed to do that to terrorists. Oh, good.
Let's pause and read this. The United Nations considers sleep deprivation, to be a form of torture and a war crime. I'm telling you, it causes a lot of issues. Physical, mental harm. I mean, it really is bad. As a guy that has to work day and night, depending on what my job entitles me to do that day, or entails me to do that day, it really messes with me. A couple of days of going back and forth on my schedule, and you know, I fall apart. Even like right now, I'm stumbling over my words a little bit. I'm not as intelligent right now as I usually am, and that comes from not having the proper sleep routine. And that's just an interrupted sleep routine. Imagine going through something like this.
24 hours breaking the Geneva Convention, I guess, is what we're doing.
So apparently this is what he was told when he raised concerns in regard to the refusal to turn the lights off to his friend. Dawson clarifies this in the video and states that he's technically unsure if it is a violation of the Geneva Convention. Imagine if MrBeast violated the Geneva Convention. That would be insane. Huge if true.
Which, you know, I'm sure this isn't like technically against the Geneva Convention on.
Sorry, we had another ad. I really should have paid for YouTube Premium before doing a reaction video this long. But I'm sorry about that.
Sure, because he wasn't technically a prisoner. Like, he could have left at any time, but because of the extreme pressure to stay in, it's not really a reasonable expectation that he could have just, you know, walked out.
Because of the implication.
Yeah, they wouldn't have let him walk out.
At one point in the filming of Weddle's time in solitary, he also shares the following.
When I'm receiving some cash, he said...
So since he wasn't technically a prisoner, and when they say technically like that, it's one of the peer pressure is a real thing, guys. Peer pressure is a real thing. Not everybody can say no. You know, and if you're trying to leave and they're like, dude, we got so much on the line. We've done so much with this. Just stick it out for one more day. Just deal with the lights. You're the bad guy if you leave. And not everybody can be the bad guy. Not everybody can stand up for themselves. And props to this guy for standing up for himself at this point if he's telling the truth, you know?
Jimmy said, can you say to the camera how thankful you are that now you can pay back your student loans? You know how hard it was to do a take of that? To pretend to make it genuine?
So they wanted him to praise Jimmy for giving him money to pay back his student loans. What the That's crazy. Tell him about how I'm the benevolent savior. It reminds me of that meme where it's Ronaldo and he's got the drink and he's got the
There is something that I said here recently in real life. It's easy to become a bully when you own somebody. And I know it's 2024, you can't own somebody, but yes, you can. It depends on how much you hold over their head. If you basically are in control of their paycheck, you're in control of their living standards, all that stuff like that, it's so easy to bully that person. And you can get away with it because that person can't always just leave. And we see that. I see that happen a lot in today's society. It's bullying at its best. Yeah, that's all I can say about that. That's my opinion on that.
Camera, and there's just like baby monkeys being tortured and stuff, and that's always what it's about, is baby monkeys. Weddle was the baby monkey in this case, and Ronaldo was MrBeast. Weddle also uses this information to point out that they were willing to fake aspects of other videos, but why weren't they willing to fake anything for this one. I mean, you could just lie and not. It'd be so easy to fake 100 days in solitary confinement. It'd be so easy to
Right.
fake.
If they're faking videos, why couldn't we fake this one?
That's what I was just about to say. If they're already faking videos, dude. Okay, so if a video is 20 minutes long or so, you know, I throw you back here on the bed for the first night. We talk to you. We get an interview. Oh, I'm going to be in here for 100 days. I mean, look at Minecraft, for instance. People fake 100-day Minecraft videos all the time. It's not hard to fake 100 days video unless they saw you in a video a couple days ago. That's the only way you would fail on that. You get your ducks in a row, you record your stuff, and you put it out there. You're already faking videos. Why did you torture this man? I mean, he's about to say the same thing.
You know, if we're allowed to let these cast members have some time off of this difficult challenge, how come we couldn't turn the lights off?
Dawson's first video showed when the 7 days at sea video faked them sleeping overnight, allegedly. So why couldn't they do the bare minimum of just turning off the lights for Weddle when he was 30 days straight in solitary? So, you know.
During this time lapse on the 4th day of 7 days stranded at sea, you can clearly see there's no one in the shelter. These are their empty beds. But after a hard cut, magically 5 people are awake, and 2 of the boys have bright yellow raincoats that they didn't have when it rained on day 2.
And after standing the whole night completely soaked,
You didn't spend the night soaked, Jimmy. You slept on the production yacht. It's ironic because this is one of the videos where they claim that they don't fake things.
but no, we have to be the real channel that doesn't fake things.
A lot of things that I am interested to see what Mr.beast has to say about and see if there is any process of debunking this or if he's just like, yeah, sorry, we made a lot of mistakes. I'm so interested in seeing what happens.
I am too.
You know, there's a lot of weight in this, and we haven't even gotten to the crazy part yet. The crazy part is at the fucking end.
When you get millions of viewers watching what you do and dissecting what you do, it might go good for a little while, but somebody's going to catch it. And that guy was him. He caught it. But besides that, just think, this hasn't even blown up yet fully to its maximum potential. This is just getting started. I mean, it really is.
That's not good, but I think
It's not
what
looking
makes
good.
matters even worse is when Weddle says that Jimmy joked with him at the start of the video when he was sent to prison by saying, "You're going to jail, you're like your dad."
But he says to me, all right, you're going to jail, you're like your dad.
Which would normally be a joke between like friends.
Very
and
bland
Weddle
sense
would
of
have been
humor.
Fine with that, but Jimmy was his boss. They're obviously not friends.
But when my friends do it, it's fine, and Jimmy just wasn't my friend.
And it leaves even more of a bad taste in your mouth when you realize that earlier in the video with Dawson and Weddle, it was revealed that Weddle's father was in prison for sexually abusing a minor.
I had a very traumatic life. I have my dad is in jail for sexual assault of a minor, you know, so this kind of stuff is very near and dear to my heart. You know, I don't.
That is a very touchy subject. That is a very disrespectful thing to say to somebody that's going through something like that. So his dad sexually assaulted a minor and you made a joke about that. I can...
around with this shit.
So saying you're like your father before putting Weddle in a cage for 30 days without ever turning on the lights, it's absurd, right? It's pretty bad. Yeah, it's not good. Things push over the edge pretty easily there. This makes sense. Also, like the pressure's
I'd have slapped the hell out of
if you
him.
f up here, the video is ruined, and it will be because of you, and you will certainly be fired.
Did you try to say no? Like, did you have a choice or?
Hold on, before he gets into that, bro, that boils. That boils something in me. Like, I can't deal with stuff like that. I cannot deal with things like that. Bro, there's no way I could have continued. If he said that to me, I'd have quit my job right then. There's other jobs out there, guys. Do not let your employer abuse you in that kind of way. Telling me I'm like my father that abused a minor? Yeah, that's insane. That's fighting words for sure. He would have had to sue me or something. Whatever he would have done, his lawyers would not have scared me in that moment.
Based on the Rubik's Cube thing and based on all the other stuff, like there was so much pressure to just do it, just do the thing, you know?
Peer pressure, yeah.
If I refuse, it's just, oh, that's the whole video. I guess the budget's, you know, so
that's what I said.
Up in flames because Jake said he wouldn't want to do the thing.
Then they go through essentially what's more torture.
Jimmy comes in and I'm asleep. I don't know what time it is. I don't know, it's like 2 or 3 or whatever. He's like, why is he sleeping? I don't know, because I can't sleep. And he comes in, he wakes me up. And he goes, ask me why I have 2 briefcases. And I'm like, why do you have 2 briefcases? And he goes, oh, because this one's for today, you know? and this one's for the challenge. And I go, what's the challenge today? He goes, you're gonna run a marathon.
With Weddle spending a bunch of time in that room and him on the treadmill,
Right.
etc.
You're gonna do
I saw that in the last video.
22.6K, whatever it is. You're gonna do it on that treadmill over there. The first challenge I did was a Rubik's Cube, and I'm dyslexic.
Let me tell you. Running a marathon, people that train for that barely succeed with that.
Like, I'm dumb. I don't know how to do a Rubik's Cube.
I'm dyslexic too, guy.
I don't want to do that. I was on camera. I don't want to do that. You go, just do it for the thing. Like, kid, you know?
Then when Weddle finally left the room he'd spent weeks in, he said that Jimmy seemed so fake in his interaction when Jimmy checked in on him.
He does the exact same thing when he's pretending to have a human connection. You know when you're watching a video and he's like, oh, stop.
The streamer voice, the same thing that people call Aiden and them out for all the time on their streams when they're trying to be genuine people. Stop using your streamer voice on me. That's a real thing. It's a character that you create, just like this right here. This interaction right here, this isn't the real me. It's a character, it's a persona that you put on for the camera. That's just all there is to it. You don't put that persona on when you're talking to a genuine human.
You're gonna make me cry. And he like touches his eye or whatever as if he's crying. He's just
basically,
I
ooh.
didn't have to pretend to do that shit.
And it quickly turned into making sure that Weddle wasn't going to sue him or the company, which is pretty fucked up, having to ask someone if they're going to sue you because of the essentially torture.
As if rehearsed by his lawyers. Yeah, you know, your mental health's the most important thing. You know, just want to make sure you're okay. And the last thing we want you to do is... I can almost hear the word sue come out of his mouth. The S, he just stopped right before it got out.
Then Weddle reveals that he wasn't even paid the full amount that
I cannot stand that word. I cannot stand when somebody's so worried about getting sued or somebody always wants to sue somebody. It makes me so irritated.
he was told he was going to be paid. Instead, he got a fraction.
I did not get the 300K. What I got, he goes, think of it this way. At least you get to keep what you earned. You know, you were in there for XYZ days. You did XYZ challenges, so you got, you know, 100,000 some change, you know, give or take.
I assume this is because he tapped out before the full 30 days. Not 100% sure, so it was like prorated, considering what he was put through, though you'd think that they would compensate him fairly well. I'm not sure. Then Dawson interjects some text exchanges here to add context of the events. And
yeah, because the channel has so much. That's the thing with greed. If I made $1 million off of a video, okay, it's my idea, it's my video, it's my editors, it's my company. I'm going to take a big portion of the chunk, obviously, right? Because you wouldn't have even had the opportunity to make this money without me. Understand. But if things go sideways, and I'm actually concerned that you're going to sue me, and I treated you like crap, same thing as the car situation. I like to look at it like this. How bad would that $30,000 or $300,000 have hurt this company? Now, $300,000 is a lot of money. It really is. But we're talking millions, you know, just like my company. $3,000 is $3 to a normal person pretty much. So when my employees go out and they do something extra and they work hard, or if they get put through, you know, it's sometimes my job can affect their relationships. Like when they get called out of town, they have to work extra days, they have to work over the weekend because we're an emergency service. That's just how things go sometimes. I compensate those guys because yeah, they get paid to do the job. Cool. They get paid by the hour. They get their job pay, right? They get their overtime pay. But I also know that that pay doesn't cover the relationship damage that has happened at home. The wife that didn't get to see the husband for the past 3 days. The kid that's growing up without their dad or their mom because they're working for me. I think I put those things in consideration. So I give them extra money because, I mean, what else can I give them? I can't give them anything else, but I do that for them. I give them extra money because it's compensation. I don't have to profit on every single job if I'm profiting on so many more. If it keeps this man happy and it keeps his family together, that's more important sometimes, you know, or all the time.
between Weddle and former other people around the show.
Because another thing, because I said you wouldn't have the opportunity to make that money without me, I wouldn't make that money without them as well. You have to remember that.
And all that stuff. It's pretty good. He affirms that
Here, I'm gonna
everything he's
rewind
saying
this just a
now
little
is
bit.
exactly sure. So it was like prorated, considering what he was put through. Though you'd think that they would compensate him fairly well.
They should.
I'm not sure. Then Dawson interjects some text exchanges here to add context of the events and between Weddle and former other people around the shoot and all that stuff. It's pretty good. He affirms that everything he's saying now is exactly what he said then. It's also revealed that Weddle was in therapy following this time, and his body took quite the beating with blisters and sores bothering him for days after the fact. It was voluntary, surely, but like there's a weird level of pressure and just kind of
I worked a job one time that required me to do extremely horrible things as far as like body labor, and I still suffer with those problems today. I was a tool monkey. I had to go and get tools for everybody else that worked and was certified to do a job. That was my job. That's what I got paid to do, but people took advantage of that. Oh, I forgot my wrench. Where you go grab it? Dude, the connexes that I had to walk to were so far away that all I could afford were $30 boots from Walmart, and I went through a pair of boots before the first month because I wore the bottom of the boot out because I walked so much. And I got blisters, you know, the whole size of my foot on the bottom of my feet, and they're very painful. I threw my back out at a very early age. I'm 27 years old now with back problems because I had to carry 2 cases of water or more on my shoulders to these people. I had to go pick up crazy amounts of welding rods. I mean, there was just so much that I went through at this job, and I'm gonna have to live with that for $10 an hour. You know, people abuse you sometimes.
desire to want to perform, and I don't know. You got to be really careful from the MrBeast side ethically there. Definitely was not handled correctly. I keep saying it was voluntary because I know that's a lot of people's criticism.
It is voluntary.
Like, why is he yapping so much? Wasn't he there on his own? You know, why is he get a job somewhere else? It's a little more complicated than that.
It
guys.
is.
Come on. Let's be real. Don't be like me. All right. And then this part is where things get pretty crazy, pretty alien.
Just like when with the homeless people, you know, people always say, "Oh, you're homeless, just go get a job." It's not that easy. A lot of companies these days that pay decent, they require, you know, they require some sort of education, like a GED. You know, they require, a lot of people are requiring driver's license now. You can't be a convicted felon. It's easy to become a felon when you're on the street. You got to have an address to get your check sent to. If you're homeless, you don't have an address. Can't start a banking account without $100 in the bank. I mean, it really starts to get deep for homeless people to get a job. And I'm not saying that's everybody's case, but I'm just saying that it's a lot easier to point fingers. It is. Be grateful for what you have. And you can't just quit a job when you have a family. That's just all there is to it too. And I mean, he said he didn't have kids or anything, but still, the guy that he was crying about did. The guy had a kid and a family. I mean, bills keep coming, man.
Dawson drops some wild shit. For example, a no does not mean no section in the Beast employee handbook, and a section of how to succeed. It's a MrBeast official document. Company basically says that if you go to a location scouting it to film and you're told you can't film there, you are not allowed to take no as an option, and staff for MrBeast is advised to seek out employees and bosses who might have kids who like the channel to use that to leverage manipulation. Like, that's insane. I can't even record in public, let alone imagine writing this non-ironically. That is crazy.
Specifically on page 19, there's a paragraph called "No does not mean no." Already insane, because it seems to be co-opting the popular anti-rape slogan, which is a terrible look given the allegations that are going to be coming out very soon. It reads, "When dealing with people outside MrBeast Productions, never take no at face value. If we need a store to buy everything inside of, and you can call the local Dollar Tree, and the person that answers says, no, you can't film here, that literally doesn't mean shit."
Don't just stop because one person told you no. Stop when all conceivable... Huh? What is this, the CIA? That's really weird and really bad. That's really weird and really bad. I've got an employee handbook, and it's nothing. I'm going to tell you what, guys.
Oh, I'm sorry, I was muted. I'm gonna give my opinion before he gives his on this one. I see where they're coming from with the way it was stated. I understand that, but in the business world, where you have to do customer service and you have to. When I started my company, I had to go around door to door and I had to pass out business cards. I got told plenty of times no by managers that didn't really mean anything, because when I say they don't mean anything, what I mean is usually if I got in touch with somebody like the owner or something like that and produced my idea to them, I was told yes. Some people just don't care to look into their job or do their job, so I can understand where he's coming from to an extent on that. If you accept no too easy, you're never going to get further in life. That's why you have people here and you have people here. You got to push past the boundaries sometimes. But I get where they're coming from, though. They're saying the way he wrote it. I understand that a little bit, yeah.
It's nothing like that. Holy shit. Here comes all the crazy shit. Dawson
okay, let's get ready. Put your big boy pants on.
Sexual misconduct outside of the allegations currently surrounding Ava Tyson, and aside from like water cooler talk and rumors.
But it's like water cooler talk, but I've heard things, yes, of course.
Weddle shares that there was a sex offender who was on the sex offender registry working at the company.
You know, the tangible proof that he knew but covered it up. You know, how do you prove that, you know? Well, there was a known sex offender, registered sex offender, convicted sex offender.
And in the video, it looks like this may have been shown in like at some point, but it was blurred after the fact, I assume, because people were doxing this guy. This blew up massively on Twitter, and a ton of information has come out about this. And in my opinion, this is the thing that needs to be addressed.
Right,
like, genuinely. Everything else for sure needs to be addressed, but this is like,
I see where you're coming from. I agree.
You did what? You did
right.
What happened?
Like it goes from pissing on feelings and emotions, which feelings and emotions matter. Don't get me wrong. I'm agreeing just like he is. It goes from that to a whole nother level. When you start involving sex offenders, rape allegations, water cooler talk allegations, sexual harassment, none of that should be ever done at a job or to an individual at all. That's the meat. That's the juices of this story right here.
Strange. It also turns out that this sex offender is actually a relative of another former Mr.beast employee, and the circumstances around this are very disturbing. Jake the Viking! Yay! But
let's
before
go.
we get into that, though, Weddle also put out his own video. I would recommend you guys checking that out and coming to your own conclusions for all this. What do you think about Dawson? What do you think to his character? Do you think he's is this just virtue signaling nonsense? Is there, big chunks of ethical truth? Do you think that all these content creators should be held to insanely high standards because they're using a system that's like really easy to manipulate? And I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Let me know. What do you think of Weddle, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? I genuinely read all these comments, and I want to know what the thoughts of specifically.
Term easy can be misunderstood in this situation. Just like me, for instance, I'm at close to 500 subscribers on my video game plays, and I'm happy. I'm going up. I'm going up every day. It's a very, very long, hard, tough road. But once you get there and you get these masses, you get this big mass following, it is so easy to manipulate that group. So easy. And that's what he's getting at. It's not easy to become Mr. Beast. It's easy to manipulate as Mr. Beast. That's what he's saying.
The constituents of my platform believe. So, back to Jake the Viking and the whole sex offender thing and Weddle. Weddle alleges from what he hears that this guy is on the registry and that they knew that.
From what I hear, I can't confirm or deny. From what I hear, he's on the registry for doing some not great stuff to some underage people.
I had an ad, and this was a great time to pause. Victim's age, 1 to 11 years old. I'm not saying one thing's worse than the other. I'm really trying not to say that. But morally, I'm sure you guys would agree with me if you've made it this far in the video. You shouldn't touch a teenager. Shouldn't touch an adult. Damn sure shouldn't touch somebody under 11 years old. That is absolutely insane. I'm not saying there's, crazy tiers to this or levels to this. Bad is bad, wrong is wrong, but I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. There's a special place somewhere for people that touch somebody that's under 11 years old. Because that person that age, yes, that person can be manipulated into saying, "Oh, Uncle Tommy touched me." It's possible. But if that person comes out and tells you without manipulation, you had to do something mighty bad for an 8-year-old to say you touched me wrong. You know, like a 3 or 4-year-old, like my son, he's 4 years old. He hasn't been out of diapers that long, you know. I'm sure if somebody convinced him that they were changing his diaper, it wouldn't be hard to convince a 4-year-old that, you know, or 3-year-old. So for somebody that age to come out and say you did wrong by me, it's very, you must have did something mighty bad, because those kids that age are used to your parents washing you. They're used to their parents getting them dressed. They're used to their parents wiping their ass when they're done using the bathroom. But that's why it's your job as a parent to let your kid know that I'm the only one that is supposed to brush your teeth. I'm the only one that's supposed to help you pull your pants up, because they need to know that Uncle Tommy over here does not wipe your ass or touch you in any sort of way. It's just got to be known, you know. Kids, man, they're the most innocent things on earth, and you have to protect them. You have
He's working
to.
at a channel that has underage people on and around and is targeted to underage people.
That's his allegation, that this guy, he's on the registry for sure, but he alleges that they knew that.
Even if that guy didn't do anything, they still knew about it and he was still around.
And the fact a person like that works for Mr.beast, which I would argue is a child-dominated channel by its fan base.
I get what he's saying. I get what he's saying. Even if the guy didn't do it, because there's always that possibility of somebody lying on you. I mean, it does happen. It sadly does happen. And honestly, I would say that I'm more okay with people that didn't do it going to jail than people getting away with it. You know, like what I'm trying to say is, like, it's hard to prove somebody did something sometimes, and I would much rather take this little girl's story as truth than tell her she's lying and it really did happen. 9 times out of 10, if a kid tells me that somebody did something to them, I don't need more than that. I hope they're not lying, but I don't need more than that. That's all I need. All I need is for you to come out and tell me that they did that to you, and that's it. I don't need more than that.
It is sickening. That is a sickening fact that anyone like that could work for this company. Say what you will about forgiveness, second chances, exoneration.
You don't get
time
second
going
chances
by,
for that.
Rehab therapy. You don't have to work for Mr.beast. All right. You don't have to work for Child Channel. All right. You don't have to be a teacher. You don't have to work for Nickelodeon. I don't want these people.
You can go
working.
cut a tree
I don't want
down
these
at a
people
tree
working.
company.
They should be treated differently. All right. They should. You don't get to work for Mr.beast.
Nope.
All right. You got to go knocking on door to door. Good. Yeah. Also, you shouldn't be able to work for Mr.beast or anything that has to do with children in any way. The Weddle parts were mostly speculative, but it is eventually pointed out that this specific character they're referring to is called Delaware.
But when I was there, they called him Delaware. It's like, why do you call him Delaware? I didn't know. Apparently, they called him Delaware because he's not allowed to go back to Delaware.
And this is a guy that could have been in the Discord server as well, somebody who's genuinely on the registry. We later learned that this character is known by someone specifically on the Mr.beast team. That is Jake the Viking. So we go to Twitter and we see Jake the Viking essentially live tweeting the intro of Dawson's Part 2 premiere, talking about Weddle, confirming things with Weddle. Then there's no response after that first tweet from the Viking until today. And today, Jake the Viking clarifies that Delaware, the registered sex offender from the video, is his brother-in-law, a guy who's actively in his life, his brother-in-law. So he tweeted a couple months ago, Jimmy knew, then it falls right back to him.
I did see Jake talking about stuff like that.
What's going on right now? How many people are doing this sex offender shuffle in this circle? What's going on? Jake the Viking stated on Twitter that he was the reason he was even hired by Jimmy, and that he sat down with Jimmy and his mom and explained to them that he was in fact on the registry and that they kept him there. He was a behind the scenes manager and was in videos, but wore a mask. Guess why? Probably because he's a sex offender and shouldn't be showing his face on a channel that's...
But why that guy? Why that guy? Okay, so you're telling me that this sex offender is so important to your channel success that he has to wear a mask to be a part of the program? You couldn't find another guy? Couldn't find somebody else? There was nobody else. There was nobody else that could do this job. Just that guy. Just a sex offender. What is going on with these big companies and corporations and like Nickelodeon? Like what is going on with these people? Why? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have words for it.
It's made for children. So according to Jake and Weddle, MrBeast knew that they hired a sex offender, and you know, it's kind of
why MrBeast. If I was a sex offender, or not a sex offender, but a pedophile, and I got my rocks off to children, what better place to work at than Toys R Us or the internet? I mean, that's essentially what MrBeast is. I mean, he's definitely got a ginormous following for children. What better? I mean, the dude was a kid in a candy store.
bizarre. I've been critical of Jake the Viking's credibility before, but him trying to take the high road here in this situation, in my opinion, has completely ruined his credibility because he knew as well and used this
guilty by association.
Interactions with Ava was using this against him, and he was like, oh, like what? So Jake is the only reason that this sex offender even has a job. So it's like rules for me. What do you guys think about this? This is really confusing to me. Maybe I don't understand the situation properly. As for the sex offender, the story is that when this guy was 21, a 16-year-old girl came out and accused him and others of SA when she was 11 years old. So if we do the math, Delaware was 16 years old and the girl was 11. A 16-year-old biologically mature man and a child. That's the context, okay? It doesn't matter. It's very bad. This led to Delaware apparently taking a plea deal that put him on the registry, but he didn't have to actually serve jail time. I don't know about you guys, but I don't know a lot about plea deals, but you know, what I kind of do know is
there's going to be some sick people in the comments that are going to say, oh, well, he was only 16 and she was 11. That's different than being 40 and 5. It's not. When I was 16, I knew right from wrong. I definitely knew right from wrong. I did not ever put my hands on anybody under 15 years old. You don't even associate with 11-year-olds at that age. That's a pedophile that got caught in the act at an early age. He didn't make it to the 30-year-old age, and God only knows what he's done since. Because I mean, for a female to come out about it, it takes a lot of courage. Anyways, it's very hard to come out about something that everybody's gonna say you lied about.
Is the sort of meme around plea deals, and that is you don't have to sit before a jury and be judged by your peers. It's like you take a lesser charge or something to commute a set. Like, it seems weird. I don't know, plea deals are strange. Then the ending of the tweet states that he believes that this sexual offender did nothing wrong and he looks forward to his charges being dropped. So even if Delaware is innocent, this is now someone who is defending a sex offender who got him his job at MrBeast headquarters, but was also calling out MrBeast about this beforehand too. It seems confusing. Once again,
yeah, it's playing both sides of the field. You can't bat and catch at the same time. But getting back to this, okay, so let's just say he really didn't do anything wrong, because I have seen situations before. You know, I was in school one time and I did see a kid one time. He got in trouble for basically sexual assault on a school bus, and he didn't do anything wrong. He said something out of the way. It wasn't, you know, sexual to a girl. He said something mean to her, not sexual, mean. And she ended up claiming that he was being sexual with her when he wasn't, and he got in trouble for that. I don't think he ever got, you know, put on the registry list for it. I think it got blown out pretty easy. I can't remember exactly how it went down, but people do lie. But the point is here is, if I'm running a channel that is for kids, I'm not going to let you don't come anywhere near me if you got some sort of child pedophile charge on your record. That's just all there is to it. Whether you did it or not, I don't care if you didn't do it. You have that charge. You've been convicted for it. You're on the registry list. You don't come near my channel that has anything to do with children. It's insane. What does this guy have that Beast likes so much? That's my question. To risk it all.
Maybe I'm not understanding this, so take it with a grain of salt, but it seems odd to take a hard stance on this and then turn around and then just defend this guy. The plea deal, also confusing. This is all really bad, and I need explanations from everybody, including Jake the Viking. And
the plea deal thing is kind of like this. Look, you know, just go ahead and plead guilty, and you get a lesser charge than what you would get if you were found guilty. That's essentially what a plea deal would do. Like if you, let's just make something up. If you were being charged for something that was going to get you 15 years in prison, or 10 years in prison was like the max sentence, right? And you're a little tiny bit worried that you might get found guilty for this. They might come to you with an offer and say, hey, if you plead guilty, we'll do 5 years probation. A lot of people are going to take the 5 years probation. And honestly, the guilty pleas do hurt innocent people sometimes, because sometimes an innocent person will definitely take the guilty plea over the possibility of going to prison for 10 years. I mean, that does happen. But once again, this is a kid-friendly channel, and you are allowing somebody that potentially hurt a child to be a part of it. And that's what I don't understand. And what he's saying is this guy outed this guy as a pedophile and then wanted to backtrack on it later on. Yeah, you don't make those statements publicly unless you're willing to stand behind those statements. Those are very very straightforward statements. That's a powerful word to use to call somebody a pedophile without proof. That is a very powerful word to use. That can cause harm to somebody's life, and you don't do that unless you know for sure. You definitely don't backtrack on it.
And Mr.beast, what is going on here? This is insane. All this also super unfortunate timing with Mr.beast's new toy line being announced. So all the drama's going on, he decided to launch a toy line specific to his channel. Awful timing. Terrible timing. And I'm assuming more and more stuff's going to come out. There's already a lot, I'm sure. By the time I've recorded this, I'm sure there's 15 more things. This video will change. It'll be outdated by the time that it comes out. But we actually try to do research and try to look into stuff, and we still fail and come up short. So I apologize. I am fallible. I'm a human being. Just kidding. I suck. No sympathy. I suck. So yeah, I'm looking forward, awaiting anxiously Mr.beast's response to this. This is very bad. PR team's got to be shitting themselves. There's going to be a lot debunked, I'm sure, because there hasn't been any kind of response at all aside from Chucky. He didn't do a very good job responding, and he ignored a lot of important valid points. I don't know, guys. What do you think down below? Do you want to see Mr.beast burn? Do you want his head? Do you want to see him make?
Man, guys, those are some bold statements. Go check out the rest of his channel, dude. Them two guys, they definitely do a very good job at explaining things. They don't jump to conclusions. I really like their standpoint on things. As far as wanting to watch Beast burn, I hope with seriously all my heart that they are not running some sort of weird fetish child ring over here. I really do. I hope that people haven't been hurt. Allowing somebody to be in your company that's dedicated towards children with a charge like that that's uncalled for. That's pretty insane in my opinion. But like he stated before, within the next few hours, I'm sure there'll be more that'll pop up, and we will have a little bit more evidence on things. Until Beast speaks out himself, you got to keep an open eye. It's kind of crazy that he hasn't. Which, I mean, it's not crazy at the same time, because I'm sure he has plenty of high-dollar lawyers that are saying, hey, don't make a video, don't speak about this, don't do this. I mean, I'm sure it's hard for him to stay quiet, but when he finally speaks, we'll know a little bit more about how he feels. But anyways, guys, welcome to the channel. If you like gaming and stuff like that, stick around. We do a lot of live live stream gaming. We do a lot of videos, and we have a pretty happy family over here. Anyways, take it easy, and I hope you enjoyed today's video.